This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, everyone. This is Karen Cook from the Home Modification Occupational Therapy Alliance, HMOTA. And today we are so fortunate. We have Rosemarie Rosetti here, and she is the top-rated universal design person in the United States. We are so lucky. She's going to share with us her behind-the-scenes stories, her experiences, interesting solutions. So we've got a lot of really good stuff in front of us. She and her husband lead a national team of designers, and they have lived in the Universal Design Living Laboratory since May 2012, which is a national demonstration home and garden in Columbus, Ohio. And it, again, is the top rated universal design home. It's earned 3 national universal design certifications. And today we are going to be lucky enough to go on a tour. So let me introduce you again to Rosemarie Rosetti. She's our presenter, and she's an internationally known expert on accessibility and universal design. So I'm going to throw this over to you, Rosemarie.
There we are. You have the full screen now?
Nope.
No, you're not seeing my slide.
We are seeing your slide, but we also see the thumbnails on the side. Ooh,
Okay, let's
there.
try this. How about now?
Yep, now it's there.
It's there now. All right, you're seeing the whole big picture of the front of the house, correct?
Correct.
You know, Karen, you had me do a similar program May 1st, 2017.
Oh, wow.
That was the first time that your organization, HMOTA, had asked me to do this presentation. There's a lot of changes in 7 years. Our
I,
anniversary is coming up May 18th. It'll be our 12th year living in our home. So feel free to ask questions. I guess you want them in the chat. Is that right, Karen?
and if you want to, if we're going to wait, would you like to wait till the end, or do you want
Yeah, we're
people?
going to wait till the end, but is that where they are supposed to put them?
Yes, either stick them in the chat and we'll get them at the end, or write them down, and at the end you can pose them yourselves.
Okay, very good. Well, I'm speaking to you from my home office at the Universal Design Living Laboratory. This is a home on an acre and a half property in Columbus, Ohio. It is a clear story up at the top, and it has most of the living spaces are on the main floor. It's the equivalent of a 4-bedroom home. However, 2 of the bedrooms are home offices to my husband Mark and I. There's also a lower level. We have somebody that needs to be muted. Please mute your microphones. Thank you. We have a training room, a classroom in the lower level for 22 people, and a full gym for us to work out, and a lot of storage and the mechanicals. We have a 4-car garage and a beautiful landscape throughout the home. This home, as Karen said, is the top rated universal design home in North America with 3 national universal design certifications. It also has 2 national green building certifications. The home took about 10 years in terms of from the beginning, hiring an architect in 2004 to then finally finishing the house and opening it to the public in 2014. We had to work on the landscape and finish the basement after we moved in. So moving in 2012 and then finishing up the landscape and the basement 2 years later. So I'm going to take you through a very intimate look. I think you need to understand my disability. I'm in a wheelchair, a manual wheelchair, due to a spinal cord injury. This happened on June 13th of 1998. It's our wedding anniversary weekend, and suddenly Mark heard what he thought was a gunshot, but it wasn't a gunshot. It was the snap of a 7,000-pound tree that instantly fell on top of me, engulfed with live power lines. So very lucky to be alive, was life flighted from the scene, had emergency surgery with a broken back, broken neck, broken ribs, broken sternum, and an incomplete spinal cord injury. I spent 5 days in intensive care and then 5 weeks at a rehabilitation hospital, the Ohio State University. So you're seeing on the screen the headlines from the paper, the trail where I was hit, and the damaged helmet that luckily saved me from brain damage. Here I am with my neck brace trying to figure out now what. At the beginning, I couldn't even hold a pen to write my name or hold a toothbrush, feed myself. It was just stay in bed for quite a while until finally the therapist came in for occupational and physical therapy, where I was there for the summer of 1998. I then came home to a home that intensified my disability. Later, we modified the front porch to put the electric porch lift in. But originally, when I came home, Mark had to just lift me up the 3 steps to get me into the house. Later, we put in a wooden ramp, but it was kind of like the luge in the Winter Olympics. It was too steep to be anything independent. So half of the house was out of reach. There were steps, no elevator. So I couldn't get to the second floor, and I couldn't get to the basement where I had a publishing company. So establishing the need for universal design. As we look, there are data that show that more than 90% of our housing units are inaccessible for people with disabilities. And that's why you are all doing such a great business modifying these homes to make them accessible. And so, what are the essential elements of universal design? We're looking for no step entrances, single floor living. As you know, the extra wide doors. In this case, we have 36-inch doors and 42-inch hallways. Having the light controls and the switches for lights at a height that is reachable from a seated position. And throughout the house, we have lever style door handles and plumbing fixtures on the faucets. My mother, Rose Rosetti, was in a assisted living for the later part of her life. And so as you're looking at your clients and even your family and yourself, as we age, these are the things that usually start becoming apparent. In my mother's case, she had macular degeneration, she had dementia. She was walking a little bit with a walker, but most of the time being wheeled by the staff in a wheelchair. Her hearing was diminished. Of course, her reaction time and flexibility were very slow. And so all of these things are going to impact the environment that's needed to live as you're getting older. So if you're not familiar with the term, what is universal design and why it's important? Let's take a look at the person who is credited with coining the term. This is Ron Mace. He was at the North Carolina State University. He got a group together in the mid-'80s and came up with this definition. What's important about it is it's usable by all people. I call it a framework, a design framework. It's not the ADA, and it's not specialized design. Ron Mace used a wheelchair due to polio, so he is a kindred spirit. The 7 principles of universal design, will be referring to these throughout this program in terms of equitable use and flexibility and simple and intuitive use, perceptible information, tolerance for error, low physical effort, and size and space for approach and use. keep these principles in mind. That might be some of the questions that you'll come up with, wanting more examples for some of these. Or you may say, what in your home demonstrates some of these principles? I'll try and point some of those out. As you know, the ADA does not cover a private residence. It only covers um, the HUD programs. And so I didn't have to follow any ADA standards, but I did have a case that if the house is not accessible, it's not inclusive. And when I was working with the people with the green building standard, I said, why aren't you giving me points for the accessibility of this new home? I think you need to change your scoring to add some points for accessibility. So how could it be sustainable if you can't get in it and you have to keep remodeling it for one family after another based on their disability? And they agreed. They did change the scoring on the US Green Building Council so that now accessibility is a part of that scoring standard. So that's not the same as the ADA. I hope you understand that. ADA is really the baseline, the minimum. Universal design goes way above that, not only in residential, but also in commercial spaces. So why do you want it? Because people can stay in their homes longer. People can come and visit that couldn't come before. You can have celebrations and outings with other people in the neighborhood or family or friends. It supports you through your lifetime and any long or short-term disabilities. Somebody may just come home from surgery for a knee or a hip replacement and suddenly they can't get in their home, they can't shower, they can't get in the room. So universal design would have been a solution from the beginning as they designed their home. A lot of safety features keeping people from falling. And of course, staying in your home is a lot less expensive than going to an assisted living facility with a certain amount of support. And a lot of people are looking at buying homes with universal design. It does save on cost if you compare the cost per month of an assisted living facility versus maybe the charge to modify a home to have the features needed. It's a much more beneficial decision to change the home and make that home livable for a lifetime. And we're finding that the homes will sell for a little bit more when they do have these features. It's a bigger buying audience. So here's where we're going to start today, looking at some of the particulars about the Universal Design Living Laboratory. Throughout the project, our architect, Patrick Manley, drew red circles on the floor plan, showing me the 5-foot turning diameter for my wheelchair. He also then showed me the approaches in front of the sink and the toilet, which are a minimum of 30 inches by 48 inches. And then as we look at the average height of an adult in a wheelchair, how high can I reach? I can reach as high as 48 inches from my seated position comfortably without stretching, and 18 inches on the lower side without jeopardizing myself and falling out of the chair. Now, I am 4'1" as I'm sitting here today in front of my computer. So my chair, my cushion is about 20 inches from the floor. So that impacts transferring into bed and onto the bathtub and onto a toilet in terms of the height that's recommended so that I have an easier time transferring. And eye level on the average adult is about 4 feet high. And that impacts the placement of thermostats so that people can read them from a seated position. So we're going to take a real close look here. And I am very transparent with you tonight. So your questions, please ask what you want to know. Inquiring minds out there. And let's take a closer look. Our website is udll.com, a very simple one. If you haven't been there, please do so. You'll see lots of information, resources, all of our list of sponsors. There were over 200 companies that helped us, and hundreds of volunteers. We have never built a house before, and believe me, we'll never build another one. Mark and I were the general contractors, and it took us 32 months to complete this home. So it's a labor of intensity, a labor of love. Here is Patrick Manley as we were working on the floor plan at the very basic to say, here's my existing home. I was seated in the kitchen. You're looking at the great room over to my right to say, we need something bigger than the existing home and we need rooms to be laid out this way. His assistant, Kathy von Bolkenberg, was a feng shui consultant, and she helped also in the design of the home. So this is the early beginnings of the design. This is the floor plan. I am over to the left at the top of your screen, Rosemarie's office. If you look to the bottom of your screen, Mark's office, he's in the very opposite corner. And there's a good reason for that, so we don't hear each other during our workday. So the areas that are in pink are more the private areas, the master bedroom, master bath, wardrobe, laundry room, and then my office. Those in light blue are the more public areas with the great room and the kitchen as one main unit with the dining area. We do have a screened-in porch and a large patio, a 4-car garage. There's an elevator to the loft as well as the basement, and there's a set of stairs to take you down. So it's an overview of the floor plan so you can get a sense of how the rooms are related to each other. I then went to the International Builders Show with the National Association of Home Builders, and I sought out Mary Jo Peterson. And this was when I first met with her. I said, would you mind looking at our floor plan and helping us design the kitchen and the bathrooms? And she graciously agreed, and we hired her as a consultant. One of the best universal design consultants in the country. I'm so happy that her influence, not only with the kitchens and the kitchen and bathroom, she also did our laundry room and wardrobe, which is a bonus. I'm throwing that in tonight. Our interior designer, Anna Lyon, she helped us to pick out the finishes, the furnishings, the plumbing, fixtures, and make sure the painting and the stains and everything went together so that it looked cohesive. Here are the certifications that I mentioned on universal design. Those are the 3. And then these are the 2 from the green building programs. You can take a tour virtually when you get off of today's meeting. Maybe you've got some time tomorrow. Go to udll.com, and up at the top in the menu bar is the virtual tour. So take your mouse inside. You can go anywhere you want in the house. You can also go out one of the back patio doors and actually see the backyard. You can also go down the steps, which are near the kitchen, and actually see the lower level. Now you can play a game while you're on the virtual tour. Our cat was free that day. The photographer from Google was there. And I said, do you want me to lock her up somewhere? He said, no, just let her run around. And indeed she did. So as you're taking the virtual tour, look for Kiko. She's an orange tabby cat throughout the house. She's there hiding. Our front door is very wide. It has a 1 in 20 slope, so you hardly even notice the slope is there. We have exterior lighting. We have ceiling lights as well as these wonderful sconce lights on the wall. We also have a motion detection light that's right above the front door so that at night when anyone comes, that light comes on, and it's been very helpful coming home from the airport with a taxi. The house is dark, and as soon as anyone rolls up to that door, the lights come on. I really enjoy that feature for safety, so I can put the key in the door. The doors throughout the house are 36-inch wide. We have hardwood flooring throughout the house, except for the bathrooms that has porcelain tile. We have area walk-off rugs at the doors, but no other carpet, no other area rugs throughout the house. The hardwood flooring is low gloss and has a rubber mat underneath made of recycled rubber tires, making it quieter and softer as you're walking on it. Here's a zoom of that zero-step entrance, the threshold that's very level coming in. And you're also seeing the lever handle on the door. And then take a look at the peepholes. There are different heights of circles. One for Mark, who's 6'4", one for me, that's 4'1", and then one for Kiko. She can look out too. Let's go into the first bathroom, our guest powder room. We have an entry door here as you're coming in. We have a skylight for natural light as well as artificial light. There's a motion sensor, so you don't have to fumble with the light switch. The lights and the fans come on automatically. Over to the left, that door is a pocket door that is now in um, view because we didn't want to see the toilet from the front door. So in order to hide the toilet, we put in this interior pocket door. You'll see there's knee space under the sink so I can roll under it easily. Again, the lever handle hardware and the wide 36-inch door. Taking another look at the powder room, you'll see that interior pocket door with the arrow. All you do is push it lightly and it goes right into the wall, giving you more space for someone with a power wheelchair or someone with an assistant that needs to help them transfer to the toilet. We have the grab bar there. We have the phone so that if anything happens and you're in that room, you can call for help right away. On the right side, you're starting to see the hardware D-style handles. A close-up of the hardware here. Again, a beautiful sink made to fit into this powder room, but it is totally accessible. A 34-inch high counter with the knee space underneath and a single lever faucet handle. Here's the primary bathroom that's adjacent to our bedroom. The camera angle is from our bedroom into this bathroom. There's a pocket door. It's a 36-inch wide opening. It's all very level. So going from one room to another is very seamless. There's no threshold at all. It's a very level floor. We have heated floors in this bathroom as well as a heated towel bar. Looking at the hardware on that door, that pocket door hardware close up, you can see how it retracts and you have something to hold on to with your hand. So it's very easy to open and close and get into that bedroom from the bathroom. It's so easy. If I don't lock that door, Kiko, the cat, can get in there in 9 seconds. She just puts her little paw in there and pushes it open. So we have to keep the bathroom pocket door locked at all times because we don't want her in the bedroom. Here's Mark and I early on in the project to see the height differential, and you'll understand then why things are a little different. You're getting a view of the bathtub decking over to the right, and then you're seeing the two vanities. One is 2 inches different than the other one, and one has the knee space. Let's take a little closer look here at that bathtub. I said I wanted it pretty easy to slide in there, and indeed it is. With an 18.5-inch deck height and a 20-inch wheelchair height on my cushion, I can slide in there easily. The grab bars are integrated. The bathtub is underneath the decking. So I just slide in there on a towel and then hold the grab bars and kneel as I get in. And then once I'm kneeling, then I straighten out. We have the handheld shower nozzle as well as the tub filler there. So I can easily rinse my hair and rinse the tub. We have natural lighting with the glass block, also artificial lighting above. These are the two vanities with the 2-inch height difference for Mark's at 35 and mine at 33 with the knee space. Again, you're seeing this D-style hardware throughout the house and the lever style single handle faucets. The toilet room, I wanted something private, so we put these sliding doors in the toilet room in the primary bathroom so that that could be totally private. It's got a very easy operation. You just grab it with a hand and roll it over to the side. Um, it just made it much more convenient for me. I've always wanted some privacy when I'm in the toileting area. I took this picture from inside the toilet room so you could see the hardware on these barn doors. That's all they are, is just little barn doors. You can buy them in sets. We use two of them. And then we have a plastic resin, so they're very light when I open and close those. And they have locks on them. We went to the Kohler showroom in Kohler, Wisconsin, and this was on their wall. It's like, what a selection of toilets they have. Fortunately, their interior design team joined my interior designer and Mark and I to select our toilets. We wanted the comfort height, which is their trademark, and we wanted it to be the seat height 17 inches or 19 inches from the floor, and then installing them 18 inches from the sidewall to the center of the toilet ring. Here it is. Our cat thinks it's a drinking bowl, so occasionally I'll catch her in there. But it is not comfort height as a cat drinking bowl. So you can see we've used the elongated toilet seat. This one is about 18 inches in height. We've got the grab bar there, the toilet paper holder. We put it on a vertical so that it's less likely the toilet paper roll will fall off. And again, a phone is by every toilet in the house. Here's a construction photo I dug up for you when we were building the shower in this room, showing the 3/4 inch plywood that's reinforced so we could put the grab bars anywhere we needed them. We also reinforced it there for the shower seat. You can see that red line. That's where the shower seat is going to be. And we reinforced that with 2x8s to hold that shower seat. The green square is the soap niche recess area. It's got natural light with the glass block. It is a slight slope with a drain to the back. Let's take another closer look at that. Now you're seeing the shower when it was completed with the grab bar in place. The shower seat is adjustable in height and also can be raised out of the way. There's a little horseshoe shape on the seat itself on the bottom. I really like that as an ergonomic shower chair, having that little horseshoe or C-shaped cutout. And the shelves for the soap and the shampoo, they were just wonderfully positioned there. Lever handle faucet and an adjustable height nozzle. Now, Mark, of course, asked me to edit this photograph for obvious reasons. We had to crop the best parts. But he uses the grab bar too as he's showering to wash his feet. We've had a lot of people in our home for tours, and over 3,600 to date have been here physically. And some comments from women are, I wish I had a grab bar when I was pregnant. That would have been so much more handy for me. And then other women say, wow, that grab bar would be making shaving my legs so much safer and easier. So here is a close-up of the channel drain, looking at that from the perspective of the slope. As I said, it goes to the back. Entering the shower is a 36-inch entry. There is no threshold whatsoever. There's no door. There's no curtain. It's open. Occasionally, a little splash comes in, but we're not concerned about it. The water goes to the channel drain from Mark's station, which was a stationary one, as you saw him, and from mine from a seated position on the shower chair. And if there's a little extra water, we send in the cat vac to lick it up. Let's go into our guest bathrooms. We have two, one on the main floor and one in the lower level. This is on the main floor. Most of our guests that come over really enjoy this unit. It was a all-in-one from Kohler, so it was just a big fiberglass unit that was curb-free, has the grab bars integrated, the seat can fold back into the wall. So it makes it great to just shut the curtain and keep all the water inside. The drain, there's just a small round drain towards the back. So that serves as our guest bathroom shower. The guest bathroom sink is cantilevered with knee space underneath, a great mirror with great lighting around it and great lighting all through that bathroom. This is the shower in the lower level. We have glass block making up the construction. We have a movable shower chair with grab bars and a handheld shower. So we put this in for our guests for the training room. And also, if ever we had a live-in, a caregiver or a family member, we could convert the whole lower level to another apartment and they would have a full bathroom with shower in that lower level. Now here's the room that the ladies like. I hope this does not give you closet envy, but this is during construction of the wardrobe. It is where the clothes are stored. You can see there's a nice center island and all of the clothing racks with the rods and the shoe racks. Then another view showing the height of 33 inches on the center island and also how it connects to the master bathroom. It's very convenient after showering, coming in to the wardrobe to select clothing and get dressed in here. There it is when it's fully stocked with shoes, with hanging rods of various heights and folded clothing. We can also store in the center island our socks and underwear, and all of our dirty clothes hampers are in that center island. It's a great place for me on laundry day to be folding clothes, sorting clothes. There's plenty of space all around for a wheelchair transition in terms of that 5-foot turning radius. Mark's clothing are up at the top and mine are down at the bottom. However, we have made some adjustments since then. So we've got some valet rods that we put in so when we're packing, we can put clothes there to make that easier. As often is the case, Kiko wants to get in on the action on laundry day. She just loves to lay in laundry baskets or clean folded clothes that are laying out. Other things that can come in out of the closet, we've got belt racks and tie racks that make those easy to acquire. Now, we did buy this simple device. You've probably seen them at department stores. Should I need to get one of Mark's shirts down or put it away after I was done with the laundry, this is, at one point, this was the only way I could do that. So I have to use this shepherd's hook and hook something and get it out and put it back again. Well, I finally trained Mark. It's his job to put his clothes away. And I don't do this anymore. So thank you, Mark, for putting your own shirts away after I've laundered them. But then we invested in another piece of equipment. And this is another piece that now I just grab the handle and pull it down and his shirts can come down to me. So there are a few products on the market. This was one of them. And he has that on his shirt rack now. You can see that we've got racks for various heights of clothes and hanging his pants at full length and folding mine and my jackets. And then my shoes that I wear when I'm biking or my shoes when I wear when I'm in the walker with my ankle foot orthotic braces. The sock drawer is here in the center island. It's very easy for me to find things. The wheelchair up against the center island, the toe kick is a 9x6. So as you can see my shoes and the toe kick, it fits neatly underneath so that my knees actually touch the cabinet doors and I can get very close to the edge of that counter. The laundry facility is in the room with front loading washer and dryer. They're raised on pedestals so that they're more convenient for Mark and I rather than being low on the ground. Underneath, we can store all of our laundry products. There's a sink for hand washing. There's a full-length mirror so that you can check yourself out. I can hang things over to the right on a little closet rod that come out of the dryer. We've got natural light. We've got a skylight above me, and we've got these windows here that are up high so that we still have privacy when we're undressing in that room and natural lighting is coming in. These are the clothes hampers that are right next to the washer and dryer, making that very convenient. Again, those D handles. As you're looking at the surface of the countertop, take note of the corners. Both of those corners are rounded. They're not a sharp corner. They're just slightly radial, so we don't run into them and hurt ourselves. The ironing board is from Iron Away. We went to the International Builders Show to their exhibit and asked them about universal design ironing boards. They had no idea what they were, so Mark and I explained, why don't you make an ironing board that folds out of the wall, that's adjustable in height, so that someone who is seated could use it and someone who is standing could use it. Well, they did. A year later, they had their new universal design ironing board at the International Builders Show. So Mark and I were helping them with consulting and got the first test model to see if it was working. So that just folds back up into the wall, and then there's a wood door that just closes it. Very handy for little quick ironing. I try not to buy things that need a lot of ironing. This is probably the only photo that we have of Mark ironing, and this was at the International Builders Show. He just wanted to demonstrate that, yes, that ironing board could be raised so that he could iron at a standing position. And of course, I could lower it. It's about a 6-inch differential. All right, the kitchen. I am the cook. So this is my headquarters with the center island with 3 different heights. I use the 30-inch height for my meal prep, as well as sometimes when I'm just eating a snack or having lunch and no one else is around. Mark likes the 40-inch high counter. He's the salad prep guy. And then the 35-inch, which is more traditional in a kitchen. We have silestone as our counter surface, and again, it's very easy to get around. We could also put seating around the center island on the 30-inch countertop. I could sit probably 4 people very comfortably as an extended dining table. The hardwood floor you're seeing as you saw throughout the house, and now you're getting a look at the toe kick over there to the lower left. That makes that easier. Again, the hardware D-style handles throughout the house. It's a better view of the kitchen showing the relation of the side-by-side refrigerator freezer in terms of some storage, the cooktop, and the wall cabinets, as well as the sink and the dishwasher. You'll notice there's electric outlets on the center island. So that makes it very convenient if I'm making a smoothie in the morning, plugging the blender right there. I can take things right out of the refrigerator and position them on that center island. So it's very convenient as I position things, or I can take them over to the cooktop or the chopping station or the sink if they need to be washed. We installed these wall cabinets a little lower than traditional. Let me point something out to you. The 14-inch space. If you were to measure most kitchens, the space between the bottom of the wall cabinet and the top of the counter is 18 inches. This is 14, meaning that we lowered in the installation all the wall cabinets so that we'd have an easier time for me with paraplegia. I can stand if I hold on to something and reach something in the back of that lowest cabinet on the shelf. If I'm in the wheelchair, I can reach things in the front of the lowest shelf, but I'd have to stand up to reach the back. I'd also have to stand to reach anything on the front of the second shelves. We've also found that people with dementia, memory loss, will have a easier time finding the coffee mugs and finding the glasses because we've put glass on the cabinet doors, so they don't have to keep opening doors because they can't remember where things are. So that was something that we found out later on as someone pointed that out. Now the kitchen counter on the perimeter is a 34-inch high. This was a compromise for Mark and I, as I'm doing most of the cooking and Mark's doing most of the cleanup. This has been an easy compromise for us as a 34-inch counter. And the depth of the counter is a 24 3/4 inch so that I can reach putting the electric plugs into the electric outlets there as I maybe plug in an electric mixer. Let's take another look. Looking at the pull-out pantry, there's storage in that small space. And again, these D-style handles, looking at the finishes and the orientation and the size so that you can get your hand in there easily and pull that out if you've got paralysis or weakness in your hands rather than a small knob that you have to grab a hold of. So these are throughout the entire house. The drawers are very deep and pull out easily. These are positioned next to the refrigerator between that and the cooktop. They're very deep and you can see that they hold a lot in terms of our dishes. So I don't have to bend over. I don't have another door to open. I have another shelf. They just roll right out to me. We have an appliance garage here, so all the electrical appliances can be stored underneath the cooktop or the center island. And that makes that very convenient, so I'm not cluttering up the countertop with all these little appliances. At the cooktop, we've got the controls out front so that they're more reachable. I won't have to reach across a flame in order to control them. These are very low profile. I have the pot filler there so that I can add water to any of the pots. I also have the knee space to be able to roll right underneath. Again, that's a 34-inch counter that I'm rolled up into. We have the spice racks. We have one on the left and one on the right. And that's where I use it usually, is right there at the cooktop as I'm adding spices to the ingredients. Again, we're looking at the timbre door so that I can close that, and that way the Kiko will not go in. That's one of her hiding places. If she hears me open that timbre door, she'll make a beeline and just hide in there. And sometimes I close her in accidentally, and I hear her crying. Oh, poor Kiko. She's just so fun. We've got a safety issue with her in this little appliance garage. Taking another look at the cooktop, you'll see the controls for the ventilation system and the lighting system. They're there at waist level, and they're also up at the ventilation level. So I can turn them off and on from my perspective in the wheelchair, or someone who's standing has that ability from the ventilation area. So that's very convenient. I do have a pot filler close up here so you can see it just articulates and stretches across. I do have a pasta cooker and in-counter steamer. You're seeing that lidded appliance so that I can add water and cook pasta and drain the water right there from the cooktop. Again, looking at how far I can reach, demonstrating that I can just reach the items on the first shelf just in the front of that shelf. Other than that, I'd have to stand up and hold on with one hand on the counter. The kitchen sink has knee space underneath, and again, the single lever faucet. It's right next to the dishwasher, making that very convenient. As you're looking at the sinks from above, the right sink has the garbage disposer. The sink is not as deep as some sinks, so that the garbage disposer didn't interrupt my knee space. Take a look at those little white dots on the countertop. That's the reflection of the LED lights that are underneath that cabinet. So we have a whole series of LED lights that are very easy to install to add some additional counter lighting to that kitchen. This is a view showing those lights that are on over the kitchen sink. It's just an LED strip, a tape. It's an easy thing to put on and control with the light switch. So we've got them above the counter, and we also have them above the wall cabinets so they glow the entire kitchen at night. And throughout the house, there are other places we found uses for them. Later, we put in some special equipment so that I could reach some of the shelves that previously were out of reach. So I can just pull this shelf down, and now I have access to shelves that previously were too high. I'm going to take a little drink at this point and take a look at that dishwasher. The dishwasher is raised so that it's easier for everybody. It's about 18 inches off the floor. It's a standard dishwasher, but boy, we've gotten so many comments from people saying, boy, that makes it easier on your back having a raised dishwasher, not to have to bend down so far. And for me, it's very convenient. The storage units, in terms of all the shelving, easy to get to. You can rearrange them as needed, and they pull right out. Our oven has a side hinge door, so that door just swings away and it's not in my way, compared to the traditional ovens where the door is hinged on the bottom. Then that door is in my way and I don't have good access to it. Here is the close-up of the toe kick. The little photo on the right is a photo at my old house showing that little teeny toe kick and how I couldn't get the wheelchair footrest underneath that toe kick. And so I was always banging up the cabinets and always having to make side approaches instead of front approaches. So with the 9x6 toe kick that's highlighted here in gold, I can do front approaches now instead of side approaches, making that a lot more convenient for my reach. We have casement windows throughout the house. They are reachable from a seated position with the crank, easy to use, and the lock you'll see on the right is reachable from a seated position. So I can lock and unlock any of the windows very easily. Instead of the double hung window, we really like casement for universal design. There's two pictures here. The one on the left is showing me in the pantry, which is the room adjacent to the kitchen for food storage. It has another refrigeration unit for excess parties, beverages. We do a lot of receptions and reunions, so we'll turn that other refrigerator on. We also have an ice maker that when we need to, we can turn it on. We have a cart that is right now in its docking station, which was right next to the ice maker and refrigerator. That cart can be pulled out as a storage unit and taken throughout the house. If we need more counter space, it's complete with its counter and some shelving. So that comes in handy quite a bit. This is where we store a lot of the seasonal products, as well as all of our cans and bottles, and you'll notice that they're only 1 can deep so that you don't have to dig around to find what you're looking for. They're all there in plain view. Now, the picture on the right is showing another part of the pantry area, which was behind me in that wheelchair. So you can see that is the door to get into the garage, our main entrance where I park my van. And then our coat storage is right there. So that's very convenient as we're coming and going. Also in that pantry, opening this cabinet door, we then later put in these roll-out shelves for all the larger appliances that just needed a home. So that's where occasionally if I'm using one of these appliances, I can just lift it out of the rolling shelf here and take it out into the kitchen on the center island to finish cooking. So my recommendations to you is to do this right from the beginning as you're looking at a photo of me and a couple that asked us to consult with them to help them as they're designing their home. That's what Mark and I do. We help all sorts of architects and designers and developers to look at incorporating universal design features into the housing unit before rather than doing that later, the costly renovations. Our home has served us now for 12 years, and there has not been a need for major remodeling. It is working for us very well. Granted, there are things that are starting to be replaced due to age, due to leaks that happen when it rains, but those are not because of universal design. They're just uh, because homes sometimes do have some leaks and faults. I know when I was here 7 years ago, I had just launched the Universal Design Toolkit. In fact, your audience was the first to even know about it. It wasn't even a printed book. It was only available as a PDF then. So we got smart. We put it on Amazon, and I looked today, and it's priced just under $50. As a companion, you can use that or the free chapter in the book. One of the chapters is a list of the universal design features in our home, room by room, and that's free. So go to udll.com, then download that chapter so you can go through the house on that virtual tour and see these universal design features from tonight, and you'll see a lot more. There is my contact information. It's probably best to catch me at rosemariespeaks.com, my main website for the business, rosemariespeaks.com. If you like QR codes, you can take a photo of that one. Now, if you want to buy it, as it was originally designed as a PDF because it comes with 16 videos and webinars, that's priced at $97. So you get this book and you can take it with you anywhere because it's a portable document. You can take it on the job with you and refer to the chapter on kitchens or the chapter on bathrooms. You can show your contractors some of the detail that went into this house. So the book is a wealth of information to save you time and to guide you as you're modifying or building new. So again, the paperback, today it was just under $50 when I looked at Amazon, and they can ship it out to you quickly. Some people are buying both so that they have them. And I would bet there's people here that already own the toolkit. So thank you. So here we are, Karen, for the questions that might have come from the chat. I don't know if any have come at this point, but let me escape and see what has
Yeah.
happened.
Well, actually, quite a few have come in, and I remember that tool book, that toolbox that was very helpful. I have that as well. So there's a question from Mark Chapin. He says, I saw you have a grab bar just above your wall-mounted shower seat. Doesn't that get in the way while you're sitting there? What's that there for?
You would think so, but it doesn't. the way that seat is positioned, I never touch that grab bar with my back. The reason it's there is as a grab bar. I actually position my wheelchair um, to the seat and make that transfer. So then I have to use my left hand on that grab bar behind the seat in order to position myself appropriately. And then I take the wheelchair and I roll it out of the shower and lock the wheel in place so that it doesn't get wet. So that was the design, to put that grab bar in so that it helps me in that transition, getting out of the wheelchair onto the shower chair.
Nice. Yeah, when I saw that, I thought the same thing. Real quick, Rosemary, Marie, what what height do you like your grab bars typically? For
Around,
like,
I don't know, 33, somewhere around there, 33 inches. We did everything custom when Mark was building the house. I haven't measured him lately. So it's just a matter of, okay, sit on this toilet, Rosemary. Now, show me where your hand needs to be to get back off the toilet. And we just positioned it appropriately to get on and off the toilet.
okay, yeah, I've had some other people we've done homes for that do lateral transfers like you, and they like a lot of people seem to like them much lower, like around 24 inches, just so they can get a little more leverage.
Yeah, everybody's going to be independent and individual. So if you have that opportunity, let the customer help you decide and watch them as they're making a transfer to see where their hand best suits them for the strength that they have. And if it's a child, it's different. And if it's a little person, it's going to be different.
Good point. Gail Stocks says, oops, somebody just put something in. Um, how many have you made many changes to your house since your initial build? It looks like some things like pull down shelving. How about anything else?
Well, you've seen some of the things that we've done. We've done the pull-out shelving in the pantry. That was all new. We also put in some shelving under all the sinks. We wanted some more storage under the kitchen sink and the bathroom sinks. So a company came in and created a solution with rollout units under those sinks. So now I have room for the cleaning supplies under the kitchen sink that I didn't have before.
Mhm.
So those were things that have been new. And of course, Mark is the technology guru. He's always messing around, changing things. So he keeps changing thermostats from one brand to another. He changed the some of the alarm systems. He loves to work on motion lights and different approaches. He is into technology. So he's always switching things around. I go, how come the light switches are off the wall right now, just hanging there? Oh, I found something different. I want to change those out. Okay. Whatever you say, honey.
It's nice having someone like that. Um, Michelle Holloway, would you like to ask your questions yourself? You've posed quite a few questions.
Oh my goodness, there are quite a few. So I heard the one about the posterior grab bar. That makes great sense, especially if you can't feel it. I was curious how you transport laundry. I was a little surprised, like those shelves that roll out with cleaning supplies. How do you get it to the laundry? That's
That
one of the
is, the
questions.
laundry is where the dirty clothes baskets are. The washer and dryer are right there. I don't have to move
Oh,
clothes
I missed
around.
that.
All the clothes are
Okay.
in that one room.
The wardrobe, laundry, closet, the
Yep,
folding table.
laundry, ironing, it's all in one place.
Okay, brilliant. Have you fallen?
No,
Oh, brilliant. And
Yeah.
then in that all-in-one shower insert, I noticed you said there was a curtain to keep the water in. Does water not escape? You don't need a dam or
we
anything
do have a
else?
little floor dam. I didn't point that out.
Oh, I
It's a
missed that.
rollable
Okay.
floor dam that's there also. And
And
the
then,
shower curtain is weighted on the bottom so that it reaches the floor.
okay. Um, are your front doors, garage doors, all of your egresses, are they powered and wired for future auto in case you ever had a shoulder injury or you can't reach?
Yes, we do have one of the doors, the main door from the garage into the house is wired so that we can put in automatic door openers should we need to. And that was a requirement of the Universal Design certification.
Ah, brilliant. And then I missed at the beginning if you said it, how many square feet is your home?
I didn't say, did I? 3,500 on the
Okay.
main floor, and then the basement is on another 3,500. The loft is not livable space. It's served by the elevator only. So you can't use it as a room because if there was an emergency and the elevator is not going to be your way out. So I just use that to store my scooter.
So that answers my question. Do you not have a generator that runs the elevator
We
or
do
no?
have a generator, the whole house generator. I'm not sure if the elevator's on it, but should there be a
Okay.
fire in the house and we're living in the loft, you
True.
don't want to be
Got
in the
you.
elevator to get out.
And I
So
know,
you can't occupy a house without another egress, and there is no other way to get out of that loft other than the elevator or jump. Or we have a rope ladder up there right now. If Mark's ever caught up there and the elevator's broken, he can throw the rope ladder over and climb down. But I'd be uh, I'd be stuck there and just call somebody, come and get me. The elevator broke.
I didn't actually think of that, so thank you for that. And then someone else asked the same question about how did you afford this? And was this donations, grant funded, fundraising? How could we make these recommendations for people who don't have access to the resources?
Absolutely, this is a luxury, custom, one of a kind home with high end products. And it had sponsors. We had over 200 companies. For example, Marvin Windows donated all the windows and doors and installed them at no cost. That's probably worth about $100,000. All the
Ooh,
appliances was donated from KitchenAid, all the cabinetry from KraftMaid, Kohler, a big sponsor. So
wow.
Mark and I worked on this project from a marketing perspective to say we will generate interest in our home. We will write about it. We will speak about it. We will have tours. We have virtual and real tours to promote your products. Your products were selected because of universal design, because of green, and because aesthetically they were going to fit the house. We put our own money in it. We purchased a big loan in order to buy the lot. We have a big mortgage now that we're paying, and a lot of volunteers helped us. We wanted this to be a show home of universal design. Now, realistically, we understand that this is not affordable by all people. However, Habitat for Humanity has worked with me to say what of your home could go into a very small habitat home. And so I've worked with them for a number of projects to develop some of the same pieces. Now, we won't use hardwood flooring, we'll use some nice luxury vinyl instead. We probably wouldn't use Kohler, we'd use maybe an American Standard. We probably wouldn't use silestone, we'd use some other laminate. And so everything has a price involved with it in terms of the fixtures and the furnishings. And granted, ours is top end, but that doesn't mean universal design can't be used in an affordable, smaller home environment. I hope that is what you were getting at.
That's incredible. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for everything. I have copious notes.
And then Randy, would you like to ask your question? And real quick, anybody who needs CAPS credit, please put your name and email address in the chat.
Hello. Um, I think I also asked about the funding. That was one of them. Um, my other question was, what are your recommendations for approaching local contractors to partner with when you want to create homes with universal design concepts? because there's a lot of builders and contractors that like to say that they do things ADA, and I have a hard time really making an impact on when I'm describing the difference between ADA versus universal design and like why that's beneficial.
Sure. Listen to them at first and let them tell you what they are doing to make homes livable for a lifetime. Because they may be doing some things, they just don't call it universal design. When we interviewed a builder for building our home, it wasn't our intent to build it ourselves from the beginning. We interviewed builders and tried to find somebody that actually understood what we were doing. We hired an architect that understood universal design. And when they would answer my questions like, who is going to be designing the cabinetry in the kitchen, with, oh, we will contract that out with the cabinet manufacturer. It's like, well, how do I know that cabinet manufacturer knows what they're doing? When we went to KraftMaid, they had a standard cabinetry with this 9x6 toe kick. They understood it. I didn't have to modify the cabinet. I just bought the one that KraftMaid had. So it's a matter of listening to your contractor, listening to your builder to answer the question, what are you doing if a customer comes to you and says, we'd like to have a home that is livable for our lifetime? What are the features of convenience and accessibility that you have put in other homes that could be in ours? Sometimes they do have answers.
Okay, thank you. And then I had one more. You had talked about doing a lot of work with the landscaping. I'm not sure if I missed it, but I wanted to know what you did like with the universal design concepts for like your backyard or other areas that you spend time with outside.
Oh my, yes. We have a paver patio that's very level and very easy for me to roll on. We have access from the house into the patio with three exterior doors. Two of them go to the screened-in porch that is retractable, so the screens go up when we don't want them, and we push a button and they come down. So first off, to get into the garden, you've got to leave the house with no step entrances and exits. Then getting on the patio, it needs to be level and it's all paver. We have a two-level patio. We have an upper deck and a lower deck. So we put in a slight curve and a pathway that's a 1 in 20 slope. We also have a four-tiered waterfall as part of that element, taking the water from the upper deck to the lower deck. We put in some little raised beds for some herbs so that I can transfer out of my wheelchair and sit on the side and plant in those little raised beds. I also have a mower that I use that's all hand controlled. So I do the mowing and Mark does the rest of the work in terms of weeding and digging and pruning. I can't do anything like that from my wheelchair, but I can plant all the containers I want. I am a horticulturist. I have a degree in horticulture from Ohio State University. I taught horticulture at a career center for 3 years. I worked as an interior landscaper for 8 years and wrote the book, The Healthy Indoor Plant. So gardening was absolutely on my top list to make sure that things could be as accessible as possible for me to enjoy gardening again.
That's amazing. Thank you.
That is amazing. I didn't know you were a horticulturist.
Yes, wasn't it ironic? Horticulturist gets hit by a tree.
It is funny.
It's
Um,
funny.
do you, Gail Stocks asks, do you use much assistive technology?
I'm not sure what he's referring to. We got a lot of motion sensors in the house. We've got thermostats that are pretty smart. We can use our smartphone to control them. And of course, we set them and forget them most of the time. Our entertainment system is voice activated for turning on the stereo or the television or finding something we want to listen to or watch. So that's pretty standard technology.
And then the other thing Gail asked was, who makes the adjustable height shower chair? And I would guess Preselit, but I don't know who you have. I know
Hafele,
they have one. What was that?
Hafele,
Oh,
Hafele, I believe.
yep.
Hafele, Hafele. It's the adjustable height shower chair that had that little C cut out, and you can fold the bottom of the seat up to get it out of the way. And you can go to our website at udll.com and look at the tab that says contributors. They're in alphabetical order. So you can see what each company did contribute to the project. And that'll give you a lot of answers to say, all right, what company did this for you? Now, not everything was donated. Some things were reduced cost. Some things were just builder prices. And then all the labor, we have a ton of expenses. It was not an inexpensive project. We sunk our savings in it, and our parents helped out a lot by giving us some loans during the construction process.
Wow. Yeah, it takes a village. So what I'd like to do right now, Jessica, did you have your project that you were be able to share?
Yeah, I can do that. I just want to be, it does the meeting go until 8? I just want to be respectful of everybody's time.
It goes till 9:30, and I'm excited that you're going to share this with Rosemarie here because I feel like we've got an expert, and so I'm really excited about you sharing this. So what I'll
Oh,
do
amazing.
is, yeah, we were very lucky. So I'm going to change you I'll send you a link for the project to be the presenter coming at you. Oh, perfect. So let me just introduce you real quick. This is Jessica. She's been part of HMOTA for a while. She's done a few, I think have you done 2 or 3 projects with us? But Jessica has a project going right now that's given her some trouble. And so she was going to present it to the group so we can give her some feedback and some ideas.
Okay, can you guys see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. Um, so just as background, sorry, I'm not familiar with this platform, so just let me know if you guys can't see something. Um, but so I did this eval on actually Friday, and it was for a family with a little one who is 3 years old. She has a pretty rare genetic syndrome with a sequence I can't remember at the moment. And essentially, what they want is a way to get into the home. They want a way to get to the basement, and they also need an accessible shower. So I'm just going to start with
Does
some
she use a
pictures.
wheelchair, I assume?
So right now she's in what's called a Zippy Voyage, so it's like an adaptive stroller. They didn't give her a wheelchair yet, but I'm assuming she will be in the future. She's dependent currently, and according to her therapists who work with her, she most likely will be dependent throughout her life. So, and then she also has a Firefly splashy bath chair, if you guys are familiar with that. Okay, so this is the front of the house. And again, let me know if you guys can't see anything, but they don't have a whole lot of like space from house to house, but this would be like the front steps, which I don't know if you can tell, but they're actually pretty steep. And then they don't actually have a driveway either. So they have like this little patch here that they can fit a car in. But the rest of their part here in their house has no driveway. They just have this little walkway here to the back of the house. And then if there's anything you guys want to see specifically, shout it out, but I'm just gonna scroll to the back. So this is what the back of the home looks like, and this is where the stairwell is at. And
Is the
they have,
stairwell enclosed?
Yeah, a little bit. So they have like these like curved stairs up the steps, and then these are the steps like down to the basement. So this is to like a back three seasons room, and then this is down to the basement. Um, so it's been a little challenging so far, trying to figure this out. But so
So
yeah,
the
finding, go
biggest
ahead.
thing right now is getting her in the house.
I mean, right now they just carry her. So right now they can, but they're really thinking ahead and thinking about, when she's, um, older, weighs too much to carry, then, what are they going to do? So they're thinking about trying to maybe get a lift, and I think a lift would be their best option, but I'm really curious to see what other people think. They did have others come out. I can show you the front of the house again. They had some other like contractors and things come out, and they did talk about doing like the different variations of ramps, and they were going to cost like a ton of money and had a lot of switchbacks because of the elevation like up to the house. So um, the family's kind of leaning towards a lift at the moment as well, but I'm open to any ideas.
Can I ask a question? To the left of the stairs, the windows, I'm assuming that's in the basement?
Are these down here?
Yes, ma'am. Down on the
Yes.
left. So
Mm-hmm.
could an entry not be created there at all?
That is a good question. I did not think about that. Um, what
You'd
kind of
have
entry
to
are you
dig out.
thinking?
You'd have to dig out like an egress.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll have to think about that. I'm gonna write that one down. I don't know if you have any more specifics to share, but
What
I'm
about
in Texas. I have no idea what a three seasons room is. We don't have basements anywhere that I've been in. So you're talking another language.
so in the back, it's basically, let's see, there should be let's see, the three seasons room. So it's basically like an enclosed room, but it gets really cold in the winter. Like it's not really well insulated. So this is their three seasons room. Sorry, it's kind of like a panoramic. But this is the back door where those outdoor steps were, and then here, and then into the like kitchen living area.
and there's steps from the three season room into the kitchen?
There's just really like this threshold, then they have some really weird thresholds. It's like up, and then there's like a little bit, probably a few inches of space, and then like another threshold. So
Hmm.
it's an older home that's throwing me for a loop a little bit. So what mom and dad expressed probably wanting the most for outside the home is being able to come in through the back, because what they are thinking about doing is building out a driveway here and pushing back this retaining wall and maybe doing like some sort of coverage and then hoping to get her through the back door. Um, but where I'm getting stuck is figuring out how to get a lift here.
So they would have to get her out of the car in the front of the house, push her wheelchair down the sidewalk to the back of the house, and then try to get her in from there. But then you can't put a lift in the back of the house because there's a downstairs and an upstairs, isn't there?
Yeah, so in right now that's what they would have to do, but if they put like a driveway all the way back, then they wouldn't have to, wheel her all the way to the back of the home. They would have that driveway in this side piece here. And then what I was considering, but I don't know is doable, is if somehow we could get a lift like up to the side and then put like like redo these stairs somehow and do like a platform here. But I just don't know if there's enough space.
You could definitely do one in the front of the house.
Yeah, and that's what I suggested, and the family I think is they're open to it, but I think they really want the back because they feel like it'll be more weather protection if they can get the whole driveway and then like coverage over part of the driveway, if that makes sense.
Could you create a different door someplace where they wouldn't have to go up the step from the sunroom?
Maybe. My next steps with them is to find a contractor and like talk to a contractor about some different options and what's doable like structurally. Um,
Any thoughts, Rosemarie?
Yes, Jessica, have you had a discussion with them that this house is not suitable for their family? And they should probably not spend money modifying it, but spend more time looking at a house that will accommodate this family. I see this as a
yeah.
real problem. It's going to be very expensive and still doesn't
hmm
meet their needs as this child grows up. Why are they
Yeah.
holding on to a house that's not suitable for this family now? And it'll be even worse as this daughter grows up.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit, and so far what they've said is they just bought the home in 2020 where interest rates were really great, and so they're kind of, struggling with wanting to do that. But it is a discussion we can definitely have again. Um, and they've talked very much about like just trying to do things in steps too, and not just like doing things all at once too. So I'm trying to, come up with solutions that I can to give them, but I think it's also an option that is on the table and we can chat about again.
Yeah, once you start talking to a contractor and getting bids to do one or two things, then they're going
hmm
to start seeing the reality of, oh my gosh, I've got bids here for $75,000 just to do two of the things that we need to be doing versus
Right.
selling this house and investing in something of equal or maybe slightly more money. Looking at a better neighborhood, a better driveway, a better entrance, bigger shower. There's so much more to
hmm
consider for this family.
Yeah, yeah, they do live in, and this house is an older home in the neighborhood, but the neighborhood they live in is very nice. So it's a more expensive neighborhood for sure. So um the home that they got was probably a pretty good amount of money just because of the neighborhood. Um, but I think they're a very open family. I think they'd be willing to at least like chat about it a little bit more.
Because what I like to do in situations like this is say, okay, put in a driveway, that's 20,000.
hmm
Modify the back so you can get the lift in. That's at least, I don't know, 15,000 for the lift.
hmm
Probably 4,000 for the electrical that is going to need to be worked on. Plus creating the egress, that's another at least 2,000. And then, okay, so you put 100,000 into this. You know how much
hmm
more your home's going to be worth after all this? It's not
Yeah,
going to be worth anything more. It might be worth
sure,
less. You
sure.
know, put 100,000 in where you can pull 100,000 out when you're done with it.
hmm
I have a question just for
Yeah.
the panel at large. I know you just rattled off those prices because of your experience. Is there any one directory of universal design contractors, kind of like HMOTA for OTs or something like that? And two, is there a estimated low to high price per state or anything so that we can be knowledgeable in making that hard conversation like you just did? Well, $100,000 won't increase the sale of your home.
I don't really know, but I mean, you can get a contractor over, they'll give you an estimate, they'll throw out numbers for you probably. What you think, Rosemarie? Do
Yeah,
you,
so you can search the internet too. There are some standards out there for, what's the cost to put in a curbless shower? If you were to type that in, I bet you're going to get some answers on that.
Do you guys even want to go to the inside of the house, or do we feel like this just really isn't a great setup for the family?
yeah, sure. It might just reinforce Rosemarie's point.
Okay, so they only have one bathroom in the whole house, and it's on the first floor, and it is a smaller one, so currently not accessible. And I it's about 6 by 5 foot by 6 foot entirely. So I don't think it's going to be able to be made accessible to what she's going to need. So the family had chatted with like other contractors and things, and they chatted about um, possibly trying to make it, I don't know if we can see. So here there's like a little hallway and then to the bathroom. And if you go to the right or the left, there's a bedroom on either side. So they had somebody come out and say, like, just take that hallway out and bring everything forward to make it bigger. Or the family was talking about making an accessible bathroom in their basement, which I am finding very challenging because if you want to see the basement stairs, that's a whole nother challenge in the inside. Because the challenge would be then getting her down into the basement to do that. So their basement stairs. Are these. So they're really tough. So I don't, and the stairs that you see up top here, that's their stairs to upstairs, which also would be really difficult for her to access because they are very narrow and also steep. So
You know what I think the most cost-effective way to make this house work for them is to put on an addition, bedroom, bathroom addition that has egress.
So they actually did talk about using this Three Seasons room and maybe just adding, like, kind of using this as their addition, like taking it and making it larger and just full into, like, integrated into the home. So they did talk about that. I don't know if they discussed that with like a contractor at all and like the costs and things, but they talked about just making this larger and then making this almost like a full suite with like bedroom and bathroom and everything for their daughter. So you saying you think that would be almost cheaper?
Yeah, that'd probably be the most cost effective. It'd still be 150,000 easy, but
Yeah,
that's less expensive than demoing the whole entire inside of the house and rebuilding it. What do you think, Rosemary? I'm still with you.
I stand that this house should not be touched. They should go somewhere else.
I
This
agree.
house, we don't know what the condition of the house is to even make that room comfortable for them. If it's not even a Four Seasons room and it's not got heat, it's not got air conditioning, we
Mm-hmm.
don't know what the roof structure, the insulation's like. We don't know if the lot is big enough to do an addition. You're talking a major renovation that still might not be accessible to that little girl.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to put her in the basement for a shower and
I
treacherous
know.
for anyone to go down the steps. It's not wide
Mm-hmm.
enough for a stair lift to be put down there. To put
Yeah.
her in the bathroom, you're going to hurt yourself trying to
Mm-hmm.
transfer her.
Maybe we need to do an intervention with this family.
I'm happy to chat with them about it. I haven't quite finished up their recommendations yet, and I plan on like setting up a Zoom call to like chat about things. So um, I'm happy to have that discussion with them and kind of just see what they think and what they say because I think no matter what way we look at it, it's going to cost them a ton of money. And like you said, Rosemary, like safety is a big thing. So um, anything
So,
else you guys want to see at all?
yeah, as you're having that conversation, saying, what amount of money are you prepared to put into this house for these renovations? What money
Yeah.
do you have available? Have you gone to a bank to look at an additional mortgage? What's your mortgage now? Have you refinanced this? I mean, it's all about the finances, and this family maybe isn't thinking in foresight that it's really going to jeopardize their whole financial future to make
Mm-hmm.
these major modifications in the house and have this huge mortgage and a house that still isn't working. Where if they had made a better decision and bought something that was more suitable, they'd have less of a mortgage and a
Mm-hmm.
better house. And
Yeah,
just,
yeah, we have a program here that they could utilize. It's through the state, but unfortunately, a lot of families have really bad experiences with them, and they're not super great sometimes. But they do say they offer $25,000 per 5 years for home mods, which is great. Um, but I just think the system's kind of broken.
Jessica, you may want to have, a couple of houses that are in the area or whatever, just to show them an example of what might work better for them that wouldn't require as many
That's a good idea.
modifications.
Okay.
It always
Thank you.
seems better if you can give them that information at the same time.
Yeah.
It's not
Thank
as
you for the
scary.
suggestion.
there are specialists in the real estate market, senior specialists.
Mm-hmm.
If you could find a realtor that has that specialty, they work with
Okay.
seniors a lot and they have a special interest in universal design.
Mm-hmm.
So at least they would know what they're looking for in terms of the bones of the house to say, the bones of this house are better than the bones of that house.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay, I really appreciate everybody's suggestions so far. Anything else you guys want to see with this house?
I want to see a for sale sign on it.
I know, right?
Okay, well, if they do that, I'll send it to you.
I'm
I
being
really,
very blunt and honest. That's my assessment, Jessica.
yeah, I think I definitely have to rediscuss this with them and see what they think because they also have, two other children and they don't have a lot of space. So, yeah,
No. And they might have another one.
maybe we'll see. But
All
thank you
right.
guys and thank you, Karen, for letting me present this and chatting with you guys.
Yeah, I'm just so glad you were here, Rosemarie, and I'm glad. Thank you for presenting that, Jessica.
Yeah, I felt like I was like spinning my wheels over the weekend. And I was like, I need help.
That was definitely a hard one. Well, thank you so much, Rosemarie, again, for sharing your house with us. It's such great ideas and it's so beautiful. And I just always love seeing you. So thank you so much for taking the time tonight to share with us and, and sticking around and giving us some input on Jessica's project because that's never the input people want to hear, but sometimes it's necessary. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Well, have a wonderful night, everyone. Anyone who needs CAPS credit, make sure you put your name and your email address into the chat box and do it quick because we're going to be turning it off pretty soon. So thank you again, Rosemarie,
Bye.
and
Bye.
we'll have the recording from this on the website.
Great. Thank you, Karen. It was a privilege.
Oh, thank you, Rosemarie.
Good
Hopefully.
night to all.